I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, with the Mike Martins channel. Thanks for joining me, guys. There's actually quite a bit on the horizon that's going on. Meat shortage, food shortages going around. So it's kind of important to keep your finger on the pulse on what's happening with food, where it's going, how it's being distributed, where it's being distributed, how the logistics are looking, and you keep the ear on the ground when talking to local grocery stores and local butchers and local farms on what's going on, right? Luckily, I'm very lucky that I live in a small town, population 7,000. We're surrounded by lots of livestock, lots of cows, lots of cattle, lots of meat, lots of dairy, lots of pigeon coops. So keep your ear on the ground, guys. Even if you're in a big city, there's ways to find things out. Anyways, so let's get to this, guys. What do I got for you guys? Here it is, man. Don't forget, guys, to set your reminders tonight for Mike in the Night. The Riddle, if you can, live show. Call into the show, add me on Skype, be part of the show. Here it is, guys. We are inching closer to a meat shortage. Prices are getting weird. Now, this is nothing new. Let's go to article cam here, please. Thank you. So there's nothing weird happening with the price of food going up. Price of food's always been going up. And if you remember, back in the early 2000s, the price of oil was reaching just over $100 a barrel. And people were saying, well, look what's happening. We're running out of oil, just like the whole global warming stuff. We're running out of oil. We're running out of oil. We're going to be out of oil in the next 10 years. Well, that's not the case. Scientists were dismissed. Scientists, geologists, all kinds of people were dismissed when they were telling people that, no, it's like a natural substance. It's not fossil fuels. And they're like, no, yes, it is. We're going to be running out. Well, the price of food skyrocketed because the price of transporting the food went up and the price of producing the food went up. But then we take a flip side of the coin, and guess what? A barrel of oil is less than $20, but the price of food is still going up. Well, transporting didn't go up. Transporting went down. So we're inching closer to a meat shortage. Prices are getting weird. This is from the LA Times. Then we have here, meat shortage looms as Covey shuts packing plants, leaving farmers with tough choices. Well, farmers just keep raising the animals, the livestock. They don't have to, not everything needs to go out for slaughter, right? Save your bacon. A real meat shortage looms. Virus shutdown from Politico. So we're getting it from every angle here. Americans could start to see the shortage of pork, chicken, beef on grocery shelves as soon as May, as a major packing plant swept by the Covey remained shuttered, and the nation's massive stockpiles of frozen meat begin to dwindle. Any empty shelves to date have been the result of bumps in the supply chain. Well, I guess you could call it a bump in the supply chain, with stores being unable to restock as quickly as customers are buying. But bacon, pork chops, and ham could be the first to face actual shortages. The amount of frozen pork in shortage nationwide, more than 621 million pounds, dropped 4%. From March to April, the USDA reported this week slaughter rates are down 25% and 400,000 animals are backed up in slaughterhouses. That's not too bad in a way. Yes, you got to feed them. Yes, it costs to feed the animals, but you can let them grow a bit more, get a bit more meat off the bone. If you want to look at it on a, if you want to see it on a positive view, you get more meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? It grows healthier. You don't have to inject it to grow faster, especially chickens. You don't have to keep hormoning them up. Let them grow free range. Let them, But I see what's happening. I see what's happening from the farmer side of it. I'm just trying to find a good perspective on this. Anyways, so let's keep going here. And with meat plants, all kinds of operating at 60% of capacity, shortage looms for beef, poultry as well. That could also lead to higher prices and financial squeeze for farmers who are collecting less per animal slaughtered. So here it is. USDA aims to buy more produce and dairy meat. So maybe redistribute it towards the people, right? I see in France they're dumping milk on the street, all kinds of stuff happening and throwing away food. Why doesn't if it's not going to be, why doesn't the government or a government agency comes in, instead of throwing all that food in the garbage, buys it at a decent fair price even at cost, so the farmer doesn't lose, and then redistribute that food to families that need it. I would pay my taxes towards that in a heartbeat. So let's continue here. If we start to see more closures and these facilities remain, document camera, please. Yes, we're on here. Prolonged for a period of time, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which consumers don't see changes at the supermarket, said David Ortega, an agricultural economist at Michigan State University. I've discussed David Ortega several times. I'm not going to see if I can get him on the show on Mike in the Night to tell us what's happening with this. Multiple economists who spoke with Politico said May could be when consumers have fewer options when buying meat. There is enough for now. The agricultural department's monthly tally of meat and warehouse freezers showed a total pounds of beef, about 502 million, were up 2%. Poultry in a shortage went up 4% to 1.3 billion pounds, and the amount of chicken in storage dipped slightly to about 921 million pounds. But the pipeline bringing the meat, here's the logistics, the pipeline, the way to get it to your door. Guys, I kind of want to throw a shout out there for all the truckers. The truckers, guys, I know what you guys are going through, and a lot of those truck stops are filthy. No one's going in because of this virus to go clean those, like people that are scheduled or companies that are scheduled to go in and clean bathrooms aren't going in to clean these bathrooms. Their trucks don't fit through drive-through. So I want to send a shout out to and lots of love to all the truckers out there, because it is tough. So let's go here. The dip in daily pork slaughter rates is troubling, especially for producers, said Scott Brown, a University of Missouri agricultural economist. If these keep declining at the rate we have seen recently, then we need to worry, he added. So Florida crops hit hard by COVID downturn. So green beans, estimated losses by crop. Cucumbers, estimated losses by crop, 38 million. Cabbage, estimated demand dropped almost 100%. In cabbage, 24 million. Zucchini and squash prices dropped $28 per box, as low as $3 per box. That's 17 million for each crop. Peppers, about 20% crop is being plowed under, 10%. Lettuce, about 75% of the crop being plowed under, as much as $7 million. So this is a big deal. This is a huge deal, guys. But a lot of people are also looking at their backyards and doing their gardens. I got a little video series here of my third video series of my garden. So the first one was a disaster. Second one was better. Now this third one's going to be real good because I got my mom, who's basically lived and born and raised in a farm in Portugal. So it's going to be good. So meatpacking plants have become COVID hotspots because workers operate in closed conditions, and many have not been equipped or with adequate protective gear after the cases began to mount. Some companies have implemented safety precautions such as spacing workers along slaughter lines and installing plexiglass barriers. That works too. Everywhere I go, there's plexiglass barriers. Hundreds of workers have tested positive for the COVID and several have died. And as have at least 2 meat safety inspectors employed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture who worked in the plants. Unions representing safety inspectors and plant workers have urged the agricultural department to step in with specific guidance on how to deal with the COVID outbreaks in processing plants, but the agency has instead deferred to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and left it to companies to determine their own safety precautions. So here it is, guys. Historical lack of fresh at USDA. So the agency will purchase $100 million per month of fresh produce and meat and dairy for the remainder of the fiscal 2020, but so far no indication suggests purchasing has increased in the past 6 weeks. So there it is, significant trade aid purchases. I'm pretty sure, like we get our, like I'll give you an example. I went in shopping the other day at the grocery store, right? And I saw kiwis from New Zealand, avocados from Australia, shipped in from Australia. I'm pretty sure a lot of this stuff could be moved around to areas that need it the most, right? I think that's kind of important to look at, right? So there's no, I got in pears the other way, a week ago from Paraguay, right? Like beautiful pears, right? So there's got to be, but balance needs to be found somehow, somewhere, and And putting the whole money thing aside, once in a while, putting the whole money thing aside doesn't hurt when you know you're doing the right thing, you know? So, meat processing is so consolidated that shutting down just a handful of plants could cause significant disruptions to the industry. Tyson Foods announced on Wednesday that it was closing its largest pork plant in Waterloo, Iowa, together with the prior closures of another Tyson pork plant in Longsport, Indiana. That accounts for 7% of the U.S. pork processing capacity. At least 13 plants have been closed in the last month due to outbreaks, according to the Food and Environment Reporting Network, a nonprofit news organization. With fewer plants to receive hogs, farmers are being forced to euthanize their pigs because there's a small window of time animals are ready to be processed must be killed. Some economists estimate that the pork industry could lose up to $5 billion throughout the rest of the year. Guys, this is a huge problem. I'm pretty sure that the pigs could, I don't know, man. I remember like when I was when living in Portugal, we had pigs the size of a small car. So I'm not sure why they would. I mean, is it that pigs start eating more over time? Is it that pigs start, you know what I'm saying? So want to thank all our friends at Politico here and Market Watch and the Los Angeles Times for putting this out there for us. Really appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is a big deal. Guys, don't forget to go to my channel and type in garden. Oh, there's a disaster garden here. If you want to see my disaster garden and learn from a pile of mistakes, go here. There's all the gardening here, all the gardening I've done on my channel all the years since I moved to a small town. Lots of gardening here. Lots. Yeah, and there's the massive food shortage video from 4 weeks ago. Guys, if you want to support the transmission, please go ahead and share a video. I would appreciate that more than anything. Sharing a video means a lot to me. Thanks a lot, guys. And let me get a soul cam. Thanks for watching. Come on, Mike in the Night tonight. Go ahead and set your reminders for the riddle. Big hug to everyone. Thanks for watching.